The New Testament tells us all about Jesus' birth and his life here on earth. Since Christmas, we have heard all about the people Jesus met, the people who followed Jesus, and those who rejected him and walked away. He called out to the sick and sad and lost people of this world, calling them to follow him. He showed them how to know God and be close to him, just like he did. There are so many other things Jesus did in his life here on earth. Jesus taught people about God's kingdom and sometimes performed miracles to prove to the people that he really was God. And because Jesus is God, he lived a perfect life. And unlike any other person who ever lived, he never sinned, not even once. And because he never sinned, he was able to save us from sin and bring us back to God. And this is the story of Easter, the story of God's big rescue. Jesus knew the time had come for him to rescue the world, and so he gathered his friends for one last meal. Jesus shared bread and wine with them, and he told them all about God's amazing plan to save them and encouraged them, saying, "Don't worry, I am going to have to leave you for a while, and you will be very sad. But then you will be filled with joy, because I will see you again." After dinner, Jesus and his friends went out to a garden so Jesus could pray. Jesus went off alone to pray. He talked to God the Father for a long, long time. Sin had come into the world long, long ago and separated God from his people. The people were lost. They didn't know God or love him or obey him. But Jesus knew what he had to do to save all God's children. Jesus said to God, "I trust you. Whatever you say, I will do." Then Jesus, knowing what would happen, went back to his friends, saying, "It is time." And immediately an army of soldiers came through the night and arrested Jesus and led him away. Jesus' disciples were scared, and they ran away and hid. Even though Jesus had never done anything wrong, he was arrested like a criminal who had done bad things. The soldiers took Jesus to the Jewish leaders, and then to Pilate, who sent him off to be killed. But don't worry, this was all part of God's plan to rescue the whole world. On a small hill outside the gates of the city of Jerusalem, the people gathered. The soldiers took Jesus, and they put him on a cross. The whole world got very, very dark. The earth trembled and shook. Rocks split in two. It was like a big earthquake. The full force of God's fierce anger against sin was coming down, not on those who had sinned, but on Jesus, the sinless one. It was the only way God could destroy sin and not destroy his children whose hearts were filled with sin. And Jesus said in a big voice, "It is finished." And then he let himself die. And Jesus was finished what he had come to do. Jesus had come to save the whole world from sin and sadness and death. Jesus had died, and because he, the Son of God, had been willing to die, the whole world was saved. Each and every person was going to be able to know God and be close to him, just like Jesus.